So today we'll be getting into some stories with Roman Reigns, Sasha Banks, and more. Let's start things off with a Sasha Banks show. What's this all about? Well, this all started when Sasha Banks took to Twitter to share this message. She had this to say: had a vision of producing and promoting an all-women's pro wrestling show. The tweet picked up a lot of attention and started up a lot of discussion online. Of course, the idea of an all-women's wrestling show is nothing new. There was reports that WWE's original plan for SmackDown was for it to be an all-women's show, with Monday Night Raw being the main show, but those plans were obviously changed. Now, with the great movement of the women's wrestling being showcased more all around the globe, an all-women's show has been popping up a lot more often in conversations. Mick Foley even tweeted about this matter a few months back, advising WWE to create an all-women's show before AEW beats them to the punch. WWE has a lot of programming. They have Raw, SmackDown, NXT, NXT UK, 205 Live, Main Event, and more weekly shows. But one thing they have yet to create is an all-women's show. The idea, this concept of an all-women's show, definitely seems like it would work in WWE because of how much talented women they have on the sidelines doing nothing. We know how things are in the main roster for the women's division. If you're not in the title picture, chances are you're either lost in the shuffle or at home without anything to do, because non-title feuds don't really exist, unfortunately, in the women's division. Having a weekly women's-only show gives you the opportunity to showcase these women that are involved on Raw and SmackDown, while also possibly creating non-title feuds and storylines in the women's division. All things that the women's division is lacking right now, so it seems like a win-win all around. Then you have big franchise superstars like Sasha Banks, who's willing to take part in the production and promotion for the show, which is obviously a big deal and something that you'd want. Sasha Banks is not only one of the biggest female names in WWE, she's also one of the biggest names in WWE out of the entire roster. That's how much power and influence she has. So to have her back in the show would easily start the show off on a good track. A lot of fans don't really care for WWE's smaller shows. There's just too much content to watch it all, but the women's show seems like it would be much different and really stand out compared to the rest of the smaller WWE shows. Maybe you bring the Raw Women's Champion and SmackDown Champion onto the show for special occasions to attract even more viewers. It just seems like something that's worth the shot, worth to see how it comes out. The women could probably build up their momentum and journey to the main event scene on the women's show, and once they really pick up that steam, that's when you could shift them back to one of the main brands to start their title feud. Just something like that really seems like it could work. The support from your top stars are there, and the insane support from the fans will also be there. So it basically comes down to who wants to give it a shot first. Like Mick Foley said, if WWE sleeps on the idea, AEW or someone else may end up doing it first. But it's not really a race for who does it first. It's all going to come down to who perfects the idea first. That's what it's all about. What are your thoughts on Sasha's tweet though? Would you like to see an all-women's show in pro wrestling? Roman Reigns is currently on a historic reign as Universal Champion, and it's no doubt his best reign out of all his world titles. Roman Reigns recently spoke to WWE India and opened up about his reign, Brock Lesnar, and the Universal title in general. He had this to say: his reign, has really put this Universal Championship on the map, because when we debuted it a few years ago, it kind of struggled, and the title reigns weren't what we had hoped for. There was a lot of injuries, and then there's a lot of gripes about once Brock Lesnar, who had a pretty long and illustrious title reign, but he wasn't quite as active as some of our hardcore and dedicated fans had hoped. But what I've done over the past plus 30 weeks, I think is second to none. And we are just gonna continue to add to that legacy and set this apart from anybody else. So Roman brings up a great point. This is something that fans have talked about as well. Fans used to even joke about the Universal title being cursed because everyone that held the title either got hurt or had a bad reign. So that's the reputation this world title started with. Everyone just thought it was cursed. Finn becomes the first ever Universal Champion, but has to relinquish it 24 hours later due to injury. Jericho and Kevin Owens were supposed to be in the main event of WrestleMania that year with the title on the line, but that went off the rails. Goldberg got the title and went inactive for a bit. Brock Lesnar got the title right after him, then went missing for a while as well. Seth Rollins and The Fiend had their messy situation over the Universal title. Goldberg then comes back, puts an end to The Fiend's title reign and undefeated streak. So yeah, as you can see, a lot of lowlights and bad luck surrounding the title. It was to the point where it really didn't feel like a world title anymore. But like Roman said, he thinks his current reign has established the Universal title to what WWE expected it to first be like all those years ago. Roman had made the title finally feel like a world title and feel special again. Everyone can't wait to see who steps up and defeats Roman Reigns for that title. And with how special Roman has made the Universal title feel, it's going to make the next champion an even bigger deal since he's going to be one that knocks Roman Reigns off the top. That's really going to establish that next champion almost immediately. They're going to be known as the individual who put an end to Roman's dominant reign, and then that will obviously lead them into their own reign, so they'll be starting it off with a big bang. So of course, everyone wants to know if Brock Lesnar will be one of Roman's challengers in the future as well. But the problem with that is, if Brock wins the title, it will basically regress into what it once was. There's also rumors that Roman Reigns vs. John Cena is being discussed for this year's SummerSlam. Everyone was sort of expecting to see Roman Reigns vs. Seth Rollins at SummerSlam, but this still seems to be like another main event caliber matchup. Like we discussed in the past, John Cena and Roman Reigns did feud a few years ago, but nothing was really at stake. The story was a bit bland, and the whole feud was a bit forgettable. But now, with the reign Roman is on, plus the fact that this would be Cena's big return match, that makes this match already seem more special than their last meeting. So Reigns vs. Cena would be great to see one more time, especially given the fact that Roman's stories are so carefully written. The story is there, and it makes sense. Roman has walked right through the entire SmackDown roster, and no one has knocked him off the top. So here comes this all-time great WWE superstar, John Cena, who has seen enough of Roman and thinks that he's the only shot the roster has to dethrone Roman Reigns. Roman will most definitely give John Cena the same sort of treatment he gave Edge and Daniel Bryan, and that's the treatment of waving them off as washed up has-beens that don't have any business being in the ring with him. Roman's reign shouldn't end in the hands of John Cena, so Roman would likely win this matchup if it does in fact take place at SummerSlam. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Do you want to see an all-women's wrestling show? And what did you think of Roman's comments? Leave your comments. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.